Hello, folks. Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU here for another Turtle stream. All right, Yidaro the Wandering Monster is back. Brent B has donated for an updated version of this deck list. So I believe last week when we played this deck, we just didn't have a good plan versus Uro, and I think we had a couple of cards that were just a little bit cute and didn't quite do enough, and this list feels like it's a little more streamlined. I made one change from the 75 that Brent submitted. They submitted Surgical Extraction. I replaced that with Relic of Progenitus. I I just haven't liked the Miser's Surgical in the main deck that a handful of decks that I've played recently have submitted. Yeah, like Relic of Progenitus cycles, we don't really take any damage on like getting rid of our own graveyard. Like this is good against a wider range of things. And I think I like this because in the matchups where it's not good, it still cycles. And there's real value to that. So the floor of this card is higher than the floor on a Surgical Extraction. Now, the biggest thing that has changed here is the sideboard. So if we take a look at the sideboard, now we have 2 copies of Caracas, 2 more Relic of Progenitus, and a Mind Harness, which lets you steal a red or a green creature. Narrator's voice. Uro is green. So if we get paired against an Uro deck, our hope is that if we play Blood Moons or Caracas and Relic or Mind Harness in some combination that we're not actually just going to be stone cold dead to that card. The overall game plan is the same as last week. Conceptually, I thought that we were usually going to cycle this thing 4 times and then get it into play that way, but it turns out that like when you just draw a bunch of cards, you can drag the game on pretty well, and we ended up hard casting Yidaro just about as many times as we put it into play through cycling. I'm excited to see how this deck goes in action. I don't have too much else to say about it. For the YouTube folks, if you've been enjoying my content, please consider throwing me a like before this video gets started, as that's one of the things that helps to boost my signal quite a bit in terms of the algorithm. I've kept an opening hand here. I'm just going to fetch on turn 1 purely to play around a Stifle effect, since that's relatively popular in the format right now. And then I'll pass the turn. My opponent plays a turn 1 threat. I will probably just Force of Will it. An attempt to resolve a standstill on an empty board. Alright, my opponent has found a Ghost Quarter. Yeah, that's fine. Don't know that I'm supposed to, like, brainstorm and try to protect the standstill or anything like that there. Yeah. I'm gonna say, I thought my opponent would just take the standstill. I'm gonna jam. Things can get a little bit awkward if my opponent just, like, plays a long, slow game, just makes a whole bunch of land drops, and then tries to make a Merit Lodge or something. But we're not really good against Merit Lodge in game 1 anyway, so there's that. Commence the Durdle in. I think tapped land is fine here. Please don't just play Dark Depths. Fuck. Alright, I need a Brazen Borrower. We've been baited. Alright. Well, this would have been very good under other circumstances. Alright. Get one more look. Hey! Not dead. Oh shit, I should have forced that. That was just a physical misclick. That's just on me. That's a little frustrating. That's a bad way to start off a stream. Okay, I'll shake that off. Moon plus Caracas is the overall plan here. I don't know if I want Flusterstorm. It's kind of medium. I don't really want the Relic. The standstills, as we just saw, are a little bit awkward. Maybe I junk those two. Like, junk the Desolate Lighthouse since I'm bringing in 2 other lands. This could be fine. A Flusterstorm over Spell Snare is possible. I'm just gonna submit this. Nope. I guess we're keeping the hand with Caracas. But this is not ideal. I just have no ability to sculpt here. Yeah, I mean, Blood Moon winds are pretty good. Alright, you get my Lightning Bolt. No, I can just fetch a mountain. Actually, for all intents and purposes, Volcanic Island is fine. If I get a Blood Moon, mountain is a mountain, and Volcanic Island is also a mountain. Oh, that's an amazing draw. Okay. awkward. I think I'm going to go ahead and thin here. I was not expecting to play around him to Turok. Hey Nathan, welcome. Just in time for some memes, hopefully. As long as I keep one of Caracas or Brazen Borrower, I think I can be okay. I don't know that I'm going to be comfortable playing Paper Magic around that many people at that time. I'm not committing to that event currently. Okay, now this is interesting. I could counter this and keep the Caracas, but my opponent has Ghost Quarter, making that plan less good. So I guess I really just want to keep the Brazen Borrower. So resolves. Damn it, Brazen Borrower and Caracas. Blood Moon, Blood Moon, Blood Moon. Force negation it. Hymn to Turok is a powerful magic card. Oh no. Yeah, I mean, like, that's why you play him, right? Like, the card is a little bit high variance, but, like, when it does its thing, my god, it does its thing. I think I want to start brainstorming and looking for a Blood Moon. But no, I'm gonna brainstorm and start looking for a Blood Moon. So Prinz, I know that I want a second island very badly because of Blood Moon specifically. And if I know I am going to want that, all right, make a plan. Finding Blood Moon is still great. Shark Typhoon's pretty good. I can just keep Shark Typhoon, chump block the Merit Lodge for a turn, and then Jace bounce the token the following turn. This is fine. I will keep this. Yes, we are straight blue-red. We have Caracas in our deck. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. I think the Blood Moon is the card that goes 2 down. And I think I'm good calling it a turn here. Yeah. Why not Blood Moon them? I would have died. Ah! Fuck. Okay. Uh, hard mode has been activated. I can survive. I can cycle a Shark Typhoon again. I still have the lightning bolts. Still have the lightning bolts. Alright, attempt to kill Maritage. Is not successful. Why not bounce the green guy? Well, the same play would happen. They would just protect this to keep their big tentacle monster in play. Like, this can protect itself. God, I hate Gerborg. Yidaro, I appreciate the enthusiasm, but I don't need you right now. I think I have to start by cycling one of these. Okay. Ugh. Wandering Funeral enters tapped. That's not great. All right. It was not meant to be here. And we didn't need much more time, but we just needed another turn cycle or two. Play with sort of a unexciting hand that just jams a turn 2 standstill and then hopes to do stuff from there. That's fine. So this is maybe most likely to be a show and tell deck. It can be other things. All right. We have a lot of brainstorms. All right. Oh, just immediately cracking. 3, 6, 7, 8. I'll have 9 cards on my turn. I straight up might Force of Negation this. Just so I don't have to discard. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9 cards. I'll go down to 8 after playing a land drop. Almost all my stuff cycles. Yeah. How much do you value that brainstorm? A reluctance. Agreed, right? Like they just jammed that brainstorm directly into a standstill. It seems like it was important to their hand. I'm not sure if I was supposed to play Scalding Tarn there over Volcanic Island. Volcanic Island lets me counterspell without fetching, but conversely, Scalding Tarn lets me brainstorm and, do the thing. Maybe Doomsday or Ant. I'll brainstorm in response. Is it more important to shuffle away these lands or keep counterspell? Probably keep counterspell. Alright. Looks like maybe Ant. In Yidaro we trust. Damn it, Yidaro. I don't think I'm dead. I have 4 mana remaining. This isn't a lethal tendrils. Oh, okay, they have a tutor in hand. That's Past in Flames. 3, 4. Oh, hold on. I'm not dead, right? 3, 4, 5 mana. Infernal Tutor down to 3 mana. My opponent is 1 mana short. Right? Oh, no. So, opponent has an out. They can preordain into the tendrils, or brainstorm into the tendrils. No, I don't believe there is a functional reason to have the snow basics here. All right. So my opponent said in chat they're a bit of a legacy novice, so like they're learning Storm. So we're not gonna give them a hard time about miscounting there. We learn by making mistakes. No worries. All right. Relic is eh. Red Elemental Blast is eh. Flusterstorm is A+++. I mean, I made mistakes last round, right? Like, yeah. Okay, so I don't want my lightning bolts. I will probably shave Standstill. Not cut, but shave. Just because tapping out is a little spooky. This is 7 total cards. That would bring me to 62. Borrower and Bonecrusher Giant are cards that attack the enemy. That is what they do. They're fine. I think maybe I only bring in 2 red elemental blasts, and I just go down to 1 standstill. Like, that card's fine. But I'd rather be holding up, like, Snare, Counterspell, Hardcast, Force of Negation, Cycle stuff most of the time. I'm not sure if my approach is correct here. Like, it may be that I should just, like, cut the Bonecrusher Giant and have 1 fewer way to just attack my opponent. Uh... No? Yes. I don't think I'm going to be ready for Jace anytime soon. Oh yeah, I mean, like, I learned to play Legacy playing fucking Death and Taxes. Like, I can't overstate how badly I played and how slowly I played at my first few events. Rat Poison, thank you very much for supporting the channel, and I'm glad you enjoy the YouTube videos. Like, that's another thing. Like, I've been playing Legacy for, a decade at this point. And, like, I still learn things every time that I play Magic. And I play, 5 leagues a week minimum currently. So, like, if I can play that much Magic and still be learning things all the time, that probably means that most of us have a relatively considerable amount of learning to do. Even when we've been playing for, years and years and years. Here we go. I don't have a blue card to pair, so even if I cycle Yidaro, can't really get there. Okay. This very likely kills us. It doesn't 100% kill us. Ooh. Ooh! I think that's the point where you just have to stop. I believe my opponent has played land 3. Yes. So they don't have a lethal line this turn. And they don't have that much mana? Yeah, that one's a visceral oof. It's a shame I ported out the lightning bolts because it would look real good. Like Bone Crusher Giant would be a savage hit. To go to game 3, maybe I should think about Kozilek's return. Alright, so Decay is gone, Delta's gone, and a Preordain's gone. What does Force of Will do? Guess I take the Force of Will. I'm not really excited about these cards, though. Like, I want to find Bone Crusher Giant or more Yudaros and cycle them. Because my opponent has a lot of tools. I don't know if they can go off next turn. The Force of Will might stop them from going off for a turn, but with Past in Flames and the ability to then later flash it back, I'm definitely scared about losing a longer game. Eh. I think I ordered that wrong, though. think I'm supposed to leave the Force of Will on top of the library so that I don't get got by a duress. God, I kind of want to Force of Will this Brainstorm. I'm not going to. But I think there's a real argument, too, because, like, I know that my opponent can't go off with current resources. So another thing to think about is that my opponent fetched. All right. See how you play this. You're just going to empty me? Yeah, you're just going to empty me. That's fair. That's a nice, safe way to play that. Yeah, that's fine. Could force this copy. God, that's awkward. I think I will. All right. Bone Crusher Giant. Yidaro. Yidaro is fine. What's the order here? I shuffle first. Yeah. Yeah, I'm at 19 life currently. That's the kicker here. It's possible I should have just forced the Dark Ritual, and then that stops him from doing anything for one turn cycle. I do kind of think my opponent might have made a mistake here. It's possible they should leave one Goblin back to block a Yidaro, since I have cycled Yidaro 3 times, because finding a Yidaro is lethal now. Oh, Yidaro has trample? JK. I lied then. Their play was correct. I don't know what the second card I put back is. Maybe Brazen Borrower can go back. So the big thing here is, like, can they go off this turn? If... I'm just going to dismiss these. The rest is spooky. My opponent has given me the GGs. GGs. That was a bit of a nail biter. Okay, I've kept a bit of a clunker in terms of a hand here. But 2 of the cards just cycle. So I think I'm okay with that. The worst thing that can happen to me in this game is that I get stifled. I'm going to give up a little bit of equity on casting a turn 1 lightning bolt in order to play around a stifle. Ah. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Brainstorm. Alright, let's build a plan. One Shark Typhoon goes back, for sure. And then I don't think I want a tapped land. If this is like a regular-ish sized Eldrazi deck, I think I'm fine. If this is a real big mana Eldrazi deck, I am not fine. Alright. Hard mode has been activated. Take your time. I'm not actually sure that Standstill is good for me, though, if I'm being honest. Like, my opponent just builds up a bunch of mana, and then, like, casts an 11 drop that exiles 2 of my lands, and it doesn't matter that I have 10 cards in hand. Like, I have a win condition in hand already. It's slowish, but it's a win condition. I don't mind that either. Yeah, I mean, I know what's up here. I know where this story goes. That's a shame because like a Shark Typhoon into a Shark Typhoon is like relatively solid under, you know, non Eldrazi circumstances. We do have 4 Blood Moons for the post sideboard games though. That's the good news. Yeah, I enjoy playing some post from time to time. Like Olamog the Ceaseless Hunger is not a fair card. They even get to Thought Not Seer first. Alright. So they have 4, 8, 9, 10. Hmm. Uh Brainstorm? Fine. Oh, fuck, that's still there? Yeah, alright, alright. Okay. I like the moons, but I don't think we really have much that matters beyond that, because bouncing my opponent's legendary creatures is not, good. Go Relic out. Let's trim on Standstill. I kind of wish I just had, like, some Vendilion click sort of creatures to bring in and close the game faster. Um, Spell Snare is good on the play against Chalice, I suppose. Let's junk this. I don't know that the Caracas is actually good. Like, if I bounce an Olamog, it comes back, and it takes 2 more of my permanents. Like, maybe it's about as good as Desolate Lighthouse. I'll make that swap as a middle ground. I mean, Force of Negation still counters Chalice, it still counters Ugins, still counters the occasional crazy shit, like, All is Dust, or the smaller Ugin. Like, it has targets. But, like, if you're playing Post, you want to get paired against blue decks like this one, right? Um, this deck kind of has the Baleful Strix problem, in that we're slow to close out games once we have control of it. I'm gonna mulligan this hand and look for something that has a Blood Moon a little more aggressively. There we go. I have to find lands very aggressively with Ponder and Brainstorm, but I think this is fine. And I'm going to pitch the Shark Typhoon here. Two lands. Hell yeah. All right, I have a plan. All right, I have Counterspell up for whatever happens this turn, and then I cast Blood Moon, which significantly slows my opponent down. No, that answers Blood Moon. Kaz, I could see Young Pyromancer as a, like, sideboard plan. I don't think that's crazy. Like, you could play, like, Young Pyromancer, Ethereal Forager, or something of that general nature. Naturally drawn land? A Brainstorm, try to hit a land here. No. Awkward. That's a very awkward, actually. take a point of damage here. See if my opponent pumps this, and if they do, good news for me. It just kind of keeps my opponent from deploying something else this turn, which means I can just stick the standstill. And hopefully standstill is good for me. I think Thing in the Ice is a little slow. We already have a lot of things that are a little slow. I think we're looking for speed if you want a pivot plan of some kind. There's not a lot of synergy with a Rabble Master. Here we go. Here we don't go. I don't know. A bunch of the sideboard plans involve like Relic of Progenitus and Blood Moons. I don't think Delver flips a ton in post sideboard games. I don't know if this awkward standoff is favoring me or not. My opponent is making more land drops. I do have a lot of counter magic. Okay, how do I want to deal with this? I can just hard cast the Force of Will. And then try to use my turn to sculpt into something else. I could also just Brazen Borrow it back to their hand. Yeah, I think I like that. Like, they can dome me for 2 and take their Walking Ballista back, or they can dome me for 3 and I don't get the other side of Brazen Borrower. I think I'm good with that either way. Yep, that's fine. Now I think I'm just going to brainstorm to make my next turn a little more smooth. Oh, right, I don't get to fetch away those Blood Moon. Seven cards in hand. I have double Force of Will. I think it's just Fate Seal time. I think I Fate Seal myself and get rid of the land that's on top of my library. Try to use Force of Will to make it through the next turn cycle, and then play a Standstill on an empty board. Ile Inots, thank you very much for following. Hope you're enjoying the content. Neb and Hemu5, I think I missed you two as well. Hope you're enjoying the content. I don't know what my opponent is thinking about there. Yes. I'd like to put that on the bottom. Alright, my opponent has a bunch of lands. Um, so my opponent can just start hard casting their big Durdle things. Under? Under. Alright, I can use 1 mana to do this. Another force? I guess that's fine. I currently have no plans to stream Maverick, Mr. Dorkfish. It is not currently in the queue. One of my good friends from another part of the world were to twist my arm, though. Maybe we could fit something in. Maybe beginning of summer. My schedule frees up a lot in June. May is busy. Yeah. Hit me up in a month or so. We'll maybe see what we can work out. Okay, my opponent has taken a mulligan. I don't know that my hand actually really does anything. Like, I don't have blue land plus fetch land to brainstorm shuffle this. I don't have the mana to cast my big cards. I think I'm going to mulligan this one and try to find something that's just a little more stable. This I'll keep. I think I have to throw away the throw away the Jace. We'll find a way to win eventually if we stabilize this game. I mean, I wouldn't have a business if people didn't donate to watch me play Legacy. Like, obviously, that sort of thing is appreciated. Do I ponder on one? No, I think I would hold the ponder to pitch to the force. Not here. Matter Reshaper. That's fine. So the Matter Shaper is not particularly good. It puts my life total under some amount of pressure. But I am pretty sure we can beat a 3-2. Like, we have Lightning Bolts, we have Brazen Borrowers, we have the Bone Crusher Giant. Even on my opponent's mulligan, I don't think that's worth forcing. I will counterspell the second one, though. I think this can just get another basic on the off chance that we grab Blood Moon. Yes, I am aware of that Strixhaven combo. I think the big thing to ask is, what does that give you that we already don't have access to in Legacy? The ceiling for that combo is very high, but the thing about it is that the Chain of Smog isn't particularly replaceable. There's multiple of the Magecraft cards. Let's cycle this. There's multiple of the Magecraft cards, so that part of the combo is redundant, but the Chain of Smog side isn't. We have gotten a very long WTF from our opponent in chat. Wee bit surprised. Um, this is really awkward. I think I am supposed to let this Transfere resolve and then hold up mana for counter spells. But it makes my top decks incredibly worse if I don't do this. Since I can't hold up the Force of Will next turn, maybe I am just supposed to do this. But the gas tank is a little empty here. So, like, I definitely expect to see a lot of the Chain of Smog brewing for the first week or so. I'm not sure how much staying power it is. Like, a lot of the premier combo decks of Legacy are not built around things that you can lightning bolt, right? So, like, when you're playing an A plus B combo deck and one of your combo pieces is interactable via, like, discard and counter magic and removal, you're starting to ask a lot for your combo to actually, like, happen. I think we might just lose to this Matter Reshaper. I think this Trinisphere I have to let go. Is that true? If I let this Trinisphere go, I can't ponder or brainstorm into an answer for this Reality Smasher. Maybe I lose a fair portion of the time. To just, like, losing the ability to chain cantrips and find an answer to this. What did I do wrong? Did I not offer the appropriate prayers to Keranos today? Joke's on you, I have jack shit. um, Is draw Yidaro? No, that doesn't save me. That was a little rough. Uh. Okay. I'm on the play with an okay opening hand. I'm gonna lead on the Wandering Fumarole. because that makes my turn 2 a little bit better. Kinda, thank you very much for the continued support. Well over a year now. Yeah, I'm currently going to lightning bolt the fuck out of a hex drinker. I'm currently teaching high school Latin. This year I'm teaching Latin 2 and 3. Not sure where I'm teaching next year yet. Do I want to play around Days? Do I want to play around Stifle? Yes and yes, I think. I am not going to play around Force of Negation, though. I want to cast this cantrip and try to find more land drops because I need to double cycle Yidaro at some point this game. I think it's really important to have more than one game that you play. These lands are fine. I'm finishing the thought. I think it's really important to have more than one game that you play because Magic is the sort of game, while it's great and awesome, it can also grate on you. Like, Magic can be a very frustrating game for a number of different reasons. Fuck. I didn't want that. That was like the one card I did not want to happen. Now my standstill isn't good. And so having another game that can still like scratch your strategic itch is, I think, very important. While like making sure you don't get burnt out. Okay, so I have a plan. We're gonna cycle Yidaro a shit ton of times. He's coming. He's coming. He's coming. He's coming. Yeah, Paper Magic and Magic Online are very different experiences. Like, Magic Online is the grind, right? Like, if you want to be the sort of player who can go infinite, cash out, ticks a couple of times a year, like you can do that sort of thing very easily. You get a lot of practice against really good players. You can play a lot against a lot of the best people in the world, but there's no real social element, and it's totally different from just like going up to your local game store, firing off a draft with a bunch of your buddies, and then going out to eat or grabbing a beer afterwards, right? Like, those do very different things. And like, it's very easy to relate your own self-worth to your Magic Online results if you end up spending too much time playing on Magic Online, and it's so easy to like really beat yourself up over like misplays and mistakes and losses. And it tends to weigh pretty heavily on people. Removal spells just don't kill Tarmogoyf. So I can find Lightning Bolt and Relic in the same turn to answer a Tarmogoyf. Otherwise, I try to like Brazen Borrower or Jace it. Yeah, okay. We're not good against Tarmogoyf. Not game one. Other games, we can maybe do better. I'm gonna just cycle one of these. Hmm. All right. Yeah, so the thing is, when you go into another color, you make yourself worse against some of the things that you're currently good against, right? So by picking up white and gaining source of plowshares, you get better at answering, big booty creatures like Tarmogoyfs and Gurmag anglers, but you get worse against wastelands. You become better against Uros. And so like you have to ask yourself, like, are the trade-offs that I'm making worth it? There is no functional reason why the basics have to be snow. Uh, hey, my shark is not as big as Tarmogoyf. Midnight Riella, thank you very much for the support. I really do appreciate it. I think I'm going to pass the turn, try to make a 1-1 shark on my opponent's turn around days. And then hope to draw a Yidaro, which can just sit there and look sexy and stall the board. I need to live up to the thumbnail I made for this video. Like, this... No, not that one. Not that one. This one. Like, I made a baller thumbnail for this one. This is the new and improved Yidaro Standstill, but... Results aren't here yet. Yeah, okay, the cycle's always around days, yeah. So that Delver resolving is very bad. Specifically because now Yidaro can't just sit there and blank everything. I believe I will be conceding. Yikes. If I don't draw something incredibly spicy. I can technically maybe live a turn by, like, animating Wandering Fumarole, blocking Tarmogoyf, but my opponent gets an Uro. Like, I'm effectively dead. Alright, relics are great. Mind Harness is a meme. I am in for it. I think I like Red Elemental Blast. Alzalex Return, Blood Moons, and Flusterstorms are all worth consideration. Caracas against Uro also fine. Let's assume that, like, a Caracas is better than Desolate Lighthouse. I could legit make Blood Moon my primary win condition. Like, hypothetical here. What if I were to board out my standstills? Board out Shark Typhoons. Board in this crap. And then also try to get some of this in. Like, does this work? What if I did something like this? This crazy person? I think the Shark Typhoons are really slow. Feel kind of like a crazy person. Muck around with these numbers a little bit. I remove my sources of card advantage of the standstill. My force of wills become worse. Keep one. I don't know how to board here. I feel like I have so many cards that are just totally fine and good. This is great. I can get this Blood Moon to resolve everything that I'm looking for. Existential Dread, thank you for following. Hope you're enjoying the content. I would like to get my opponent to fight over something prior to Blood Moon. That's kind of the dream here. All right. So let's attempt to fight over this Delver. You get out of the graveyard. You come hang out too. And I can start using the second relic on myself to, like, keep Tarmogoyf small. Yeah, that's fine. If I don't draw anything, I will just slam the Blood Moon. I drew something, though. Nah, I'm still just going to slam this Blood Moon. It's so good if it resolves. And if it doesn't, I have more copies of it in my deck. Like, in the grand scheme of things, the Blood Moon is very good. It's going to be one of the ways that I lock up the game. But it's more important that the Lightning Bolt resolves and kills the Delver than it is that I resolve the Blood Moon immediately. Something like a True Name Nemesis is the big thing that I'm spooked about, because I can really only answer that on the stack. All of them, huh? Now that my opponent doesn't have hard cast Force of Negation up, I'm going to go ahead and try to bolt the Delver. So this anti-Uro plan, definitely working. So we care about like Delvers and Brazen Borrowers and True Name Nemesis. Yep. That's fine. You can cantrip. Fuck! Emergency? Fuck! Red Elemental Blast! Fuck! Okay. Alright. I have Red Elemental Blasts. I have Caracas. No, I'm not digging. I have exactly one Force of Will to hit. My opponent said something a little cocky in chat. They have now put a frowny face. I think I'm good with all of these. We'll keep access to that Mind Harness in case they do manage to do the Uro dance again. I don't think I'm going to cast Brainstorm right now. I think I'm just going to hard cast a Brazen Borrower around Daze on my opponent's turn. Yeah, so I don't know if my sideboarding plan of like going down on the cards that 2-for-1 myself is correct. But the game plan I wanted to execute is currently happening. And that's nice. Sure, that's fine. Just try to make a land drop here if we can. Nice. Happy with all of this. I'll put the Mind Harness 2 down. We also now show our opponent this Caracas. My opponent has used 2 Wastelands right now. I think I'm fine with the upside of this resolving here. These cards are fine. Oh, maybe I just shuffle these. Like, I have the Uro well handled. I'm not ready for Jace. Yeah, I'm plenty happy with that. I have a couple of very specific things that I'm worried about. And more so than anything else, I just want to find a red elemental blast so that a true name nemesis very specifically can't beat me. Yeah, Delver's fine. Like, we have the lightning bolts and the red elemental blasts to answer this. Oh, my opponent just straight up removed the Uro. In that case, don't have to think about their graveyard very much right now. Oh, that's a card I don't like. I think that causes me to cycle this. See if I can find a lightning bolt. Alright, red elemental blast unfortunately does not answer Hex Drinker. Alright. Find Yidaro. You're one fucking turn too late, bud. Literal one card too late. Yeah. Could be dead next turn. That still doesn't kill Hexdrinker. I had the plan. Plan was not good enough. Alright. I will be keeping this hand. Doesn't do anything necessarily exciting to start off with. Oh! Memes and dreams confirmed. I saw a screenshot of this player. I believe they are playing some sort of like mono black Karn deck. I think I want to put my counterspell on top. I think I care about that card quite a bit. Yeah, let's hide the counterspells. No, they can't take Force of Will. So let's just plan on fetching this away and hiding counterspell. So I'll lose Ponder here. Oh. Fine. I assume I lose Force? Yep. That's okay. A lot of times these mono black decks kind of fold if you can counterspell their first, like, two-ish things that matter. And so, like, I've traded with two of their cards 1-for-1. I can counter their, big play that they do. I guess I just make them take the counterspell. Yeah, that's fine. Then I can just use my mana to cycle Yidaro. This matchup is slow enough that I actually might be able to, like, get a Yidaro into play. We, not really done that this league yet. And not looking great. Please? Oh, hold on. That's a good question. All right. When you cycle this, shuffle it from your library into your library from your graveyard. I feel like no. Opposition agent doing the typical opposition agent thing of nothing. I been very disappointed by opposition agent recently. That card is just not doing the sort of things that you want a legacy card to be doing the vast majority of the time. How do I win this game? 3 of these Yudaras are in exile. I may just be winning this game with the Jace ultimate. I think I need to accrue some more cards first, though. I don't feel safe yet. Okay, hold on. This is my exile zone, right? Yeah, my Yudaras are not in exile. Are my Yudaras supposed to be in exile? If a card would be put into opponent's graveyard from anywhere, exile it. Hmm. No, this is a trigger. Whenever at, that's a trigger. I think this should be in exile. Like, I had this popped up like this was my exile zone. Huh. Okay. I still haven't gotten any safer, unfortunately. That's not good for me. Okay. How much damage does Yidaro do? 8. 8 plus 6 is not 16. So I probably shouldn't fire off these lightning bolts. So I need to find a Brazen Borrower. Okay, I'll report the bug. Cycle. Okay, so it will go back into my library, but it won't go to battlefield? Interesting. I'm confused about the consistency there. I don't really get to board against my opponent. Like, Blood Moon's not good. I guess Kozilek's Return is one more answer to an opposition agent, technically. Like that's better than a Relic. The rest of these cards don't do anything. Oh, I guess I could have boarded in Caracas. Uh... I might get Brainstorm locked and just die. I'm gonna go to 5. Or maybe Shark Typhoon? No, Shark Typhoon is blue. Hello and welcome. I want these lands. Get rid of Jace. I get my other color now. And play Standstill. Duo Cat TV, thank you very much for your support. Yeah, I mean, the format's expensive, even on Magic Online. I think I want a bigger Shark Typhoon than this. Like, waiting one turn literally doubles my clock. And then I also don't drop, like, something to the Force of Will. Oh, great. My opponent just had stage depth. Naturally. Okay, that's not bad. My opponent makes their 2020. I chump block. Hopefully they, like, play a spell for some reason. They don't. I have to crack the Standstill to kill the 2020. I don't like this. Not why I play Standstill. I guess I could have considered brainstorming in their end step to break the Standstill that way and make them discard him. God damn it. This league was just not my league. That kills Jace if I let that resolve. I think my Jace is quite important. Brazen Borrower? I'll shuffle with this. Now I need very specific things. All right. That was a rough league. Now, I don't think our deck is great. Like, let's accept that as a starting point. Like, we're trying to play a meme deck here for sure. But I think the big problem that this deck has is too many of its cards don't have an immediate impact on the game. Yidaro and Shark Typhoon in the early turns do basically nothing. Right? So you have 6 2-mana, almost do nothing cantrips for the beginning portion of the game. And those initial turns matter a lot, and so you often end up falling behind. And you don't want to be falling behind as the Standstill deck, right? You want to get ahead on board, play a Standstill, and then use the cards you get from Standstill to like leverage an advantage in a very strong way. I like some things about this deck, and I do think that this version of the deck is better than the version we played last week, even if our results were worse. Like I do really like access to the pile of Relic of Progenitus. I think like having that as a consistent game plan versus Uro, which is a problematic card, is good. Um, I made some mistakes this league. I'll own up to that. I think in the last round I was supposed to sideboard more, like against like the mono black traditional portion of that deck list. Like the Blood Moons and Caracas don't really do anything, but maybe since I'm so bad at answering Merit Lodge, I need to play both Blood Moon and Caracas there over some number of my slower cards in order to just be able to more accurately point my counter magic and removal spells at cards that matter. And I had a misclick in round 1 that was costly. I don't know that. Maybe the problem is you can't play like both Yodaro and Shark Typhoon at the same time. Maybe this has to be one or the other, and having both just makes you too clunky in the early game. Another problem more generally is that like there are a decent number of popular threats right now that Lightning Bolt doesn't answer. So maybe you do need to make your mana base worse in order to get more effective and targeted cards in here. Um, you know, a Teferi would be great in this shell. I think that would be better than Narset. Swords to Plowshares would certainly be better than Lightning Bolt. I don't know. Like maybe the Yidaro plan is just too cute and not actually effective enough. And maybe if you want to play Standstill, you just be in blue white, and you play some, I don't know, some Stone Forges or something as some sort of other alternative win condition. But that doesn't happen under Standstill nearly as well as Yidaro does. But it just wasn't a good league for us. I think we got some rough pairings where us playing Standstill wasn't actually good for us. Like against these Merit Lodge decks, uh, like I play a Standstill and they will wait me out. Like I had to break my own Standstill and give my opponent cards, I think either 2 or 3 times this league. Anyway, for the folks who watched it on YouTube, if you made it this far, please throw me a like or a comment if you haven't already. That sort of thing always helps the content out a lot, and I hope you have a great rest of the day. See ya!